You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chattin' with Colin.
Do you know me? Do you love me? Do you really want more money? More money? More of me. I want more money. Okay, so here's the deal. I know you saw a lot of me on social media with the Brantford Festival. We'll get there. I know I said I'll have a new theme song. I'm working on it. I thought this was going to be once a month, but I'm actually filming another episode in June, which is why I'm wearing the new Brantford Pride shirt. Yes. So the next time I do the podcast, I promise I'll get like a band and I'll overlay my voice again. And it's going to be the same tune, just a little bit a better production value. And I think you're going to appreciate that, right? Of course, right. Okay, so what else? We just got an official Facebook page. Yes, Chattin' with Colin. Remember, Chattin', there's no J. It's just Chattin', Chattin, with Colin. So that's the email, chattinwithcolin@gmail.com, the Facebook page, like I said. We even have an Instagram, Chattin' with Colin. It's all very new, and we're going to hype it up this week. I know we rushed to get these out the same day we're filming them, so just for transparency, right now it is Tuesday, June 17th. So if all goes well, this will be released this evening. So I got to thank everyone at BCTV for really turning it around. I had no clue what I was doing last time, but Steve Mazzacane was great. And the feedback that I got from you guys it was great. So thank you for stopping me and for messaging me and saying that you want to see more. And so that's what we're going to do. And Brantford, the bees, my plea worked. I got into the Facebook page. I love it. So thank you, my bees. Like I said, I am the biggest bee in all of Brantford, but like a good bee, I get stuff done and, I can say the word, but I know some kids are watching, so I'm not going to say the word. But thank you to my Brantford bees. What else do I got? I'll tell you, I told you about the Pride shirt, the Pride flags. We got the Pride flags up earlier than we thought. I forgot that we used the extra flag holders on Main Street for the Brantford Festival sponsors. So that's why I always waited till after the festival, because we needed those poles to show the support of our sponsors. So when I found out, because Jamie reminded me that was why, when I say Jamie, it's Jamie Cosgrove, or our first selectman, Mr. Cosgrove. I like to call him Jamie because I'm friends with him. I've known him my whole life, and I know it's not out of disrespect. So Jamie, it's Jamie Cosgrove, and I'm very sad he's leaving in November because he has been such a great advocate of mine and the arts in Brantford. But I know whoever wins the election, it's going to still continue to be this thriving arts town. So thanks, Jamie, for all the support. Hopefully we get you here before you leave office. And I know you're not really going to go anywhere. You're going to still want what's the best for Brantford. So, okay, what else? I had a physical yesterday, down 87.5 pounds. I can't believe it. I'm telling you, Ozempic, Mounjaro, it works. I will scream it as loud as I can. It has changed my life. I can't wait. I'm turning 40 July 7th. I can't wait. I'm doing some chartered cruises on the Sea Mist. I did also just get invited to go on a cruise to Mexico, where I used to work for Rosie O'Donnell's Vacation since I was 18 years old. So I'm going to Mexico beginning July 12th. So I'm going to say that's an extension of my birthday. And I love being with the Our Family people. It's all gay and lesbian families, and it's just great for them to all be in one place. And, they might be the only family with two moms or two dads in Ohio, but when they come on this trip, they really get family, and they become family. And it's the entertainment is great. The memories, I've been on it since I'm 18 years old, and I'm turning 40. So I've seen some of these kids grow up, and some of them are having kids now. It's crazy. But enough about me. I know it's Chattin' with Colin, but I told you I was going to have guests. So I'm going to have guests, and I want to bring on our first two guests for episode 2. Because it's episode 2, so I'm bringing on 2 guests. Don't worry, I can't have more than 2, so it's not going to be 3, 4, 5. That's not how it's going. But I would like to welcome Chris Lemieux and Kelsey Mulligan to Chattin' with Colin. Hi, guys. How are you?
Hi.
Hey, Kyle.
Welcome to the bees officially, from a bee to another bee.
Thank you. I don't know what you had to do with it, but I'm glad I'm in. It was years. It was years I was wanting to be in there. But that group does so good. They do so much good for the community.
Incredible.
That I really just want to help them and help them spread the word. So thank you. What can we talk about first? Did you guys go to the festival?
Yeah.
Of course we went to the festival.
Yeah. What'd you think? New location. What'd you think about this year?
I thought it was great. I mean, I know we've all loved it on the green for our whole lives. We all have those memories, but having the space really, I think, aided everybody. Things were comfortable. You didn't feel like you were on top of each other, and it allowed for more vendors and more people and more animals. I got to see pet a donkey.
Oh,
yeah, it was great.
An ass. I could say that. I can't say the B word, but I'll say that word. Yeah, I know the weather wasn't the greatest, and I know some people really, didn't like the change, but some people loved the change. I could tell you, I mean, it was very ambitious, and me being the first-year corporate board president, I did not know what all it was going to entail to move the whole operation down, and all the expenses that we had no clue were going to come our way. But thank you to everyone for coming and supporting and the kind words. Obviously, we still have social media campaigns going on. You can always make a donation at BramfordFestival.com. It's because of people like you. It is not a town-run organization. The town helps a lot. They support us a lot. But we're our own 501c3, and a lot of other 501c3s make money off of us. The Saturday event during the day is all Shoreline Chamber, and the road race is its separate thing, and we're all trying to make money and get sponsors for the same thing. So we thank everyone for helping any of those entities. But if you want to support the festival specifically, go to BramfordFestival.com or do the social media challenges. We're still doing those. So,
and I think I saw on Facebook today there's a survey that went out.
Yeah. I think it's on Facebook, and if you go to BramfordFestival.com, it's right at the top. Take the survey. I know you want your voices heard. I see the social media comments. I cannot keep up with all of them. I run a lot of social media pages. I get alerts all the time on my phone. I can't keep up with them, but I do have some great people running it behind the scenes, and they keep me updated. But we want to hear, what did you like? What didn't you like at Hammerfield? I can tell you from the police and the fire and the safety and the public works point of view, that location was much easier and better. It was all self-contained.
It seemed it. I mean, there was just also an energy about the actual space itself.
Right.
It seemed like it was easier to maneuver around, and that beer tent.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah,
that was
thank
my
you.
idea. I did want. I with the new location, I wanted to see if we could do it. And honestly, I know the green construction didn't start on time, but once that's done, we are going to have a phenomenal green. Not that it wasn't great before, but it's going to be more ADA accessible, and it's just going to be more 2025. It's still going to have the historic Bramford look, but it's well needed. It hasn't been redone since the mid-'80s.
Yeah,
and
it's time.
It is time. And I know we're going to miss doing stuff there, but breaking news. I'm telling you this now because it was decided yesterday. The jazz concert and all of the musical Mondays and the TGIF concerts, everything is moved back to the green until they tell me we can't have it there because the construction's going to start. With that said, most likely the festival will be at Hammerfield next year because the green project will be going on. But now we know how we could make it even better with more rides. I could hopefully talk to Mother Nature and get a little better weather. I think if we have great weather next year and make some changes and improvements and figure out, a little more ADA accessibility and handicap parking, I think we will. This next year, it will be even better, and we'll win some more people over. But the vast majority, I've heard really like the new location. I know in high school, I was the high school liaison on the committee, and then now I've served on the board for 4 years and 2 years as the president-elect, and I'll be 2 years as the president. I might stay longer. If they push me out, they push me out. But who knows? I could do it for as long as I want. I love doing it. I love the tradition. I am the arts, culture, special events coordinator for the town, so it's sort of my expertise. I know, Chris, you were involved for a few years. How were you involved with the festival?
Yeah, I did backstage entertainment on Saturdays.
Yeah, so that's where it happened behind Town Hall in the back green, and it was dance studios and choirs.
Yeah, dance studios and theater companies and gymnastics.
Karate.
And local singers, and we were excited about it actually being a part of what would have been the main stage, right? But unfortunately it got rained out. But
yeah, I could tell you, all of the Saturday activities during the day got rained out. But they were all going to be on the main stage of the Showmobile. I could tell you the layout for the festival changed about 17 times. The only thing that remained the same was where the beer tent was.
Sure.
But that stage changed. I could also tell you that next year, hopefully we'll have a beer tent again, and that beer tent will be very close to the stage, because I did not like that you couldn't hear it and you felt a little bit removed. So live and learn. But when we originally had it, it was very close to the stage. But you know what? Lots of cooks in the kitchen. Okay, what else can we talk about? Let me see. Let me look at my rundown. Legacy Theater. I know I talked about Legacy Theater last time, and we talked about their new work. They always do a new work. Long Days is the name of it. It's about a theater company that really has no money, which is every theater company, if you know what I mean. And it's a dilapidated theater. And honestly, I don't want to ruin the ending, but the ending is epic. What they do to the set. That's all I'm going to say. But there's a lot that goes wrong in this theater company. If you're into theater, it's a backstage look at this production of what happens during Long Days and this theater that's just falling apart in front of your eyes. And I loved it because I'm a theater person, but I've also talked to many people that love it because it's a new work and they get to, see a new work. They're one of the first audiences, which I know I talked about the last time. Have either of you gotten to see Long Days, or are you planning on it?
I haven't seen it yet, but I am planning on going this weekend. I'm hoping.
Cool.
Yeah.
I went to the invited dress. I thought it was great. Kels, how about you?
No, I haven't gotten to see it yet. Same thing. Chris and I have been in rehearsals for a show we'll talk about very soon.
Yes.
But I know some of the cast members, and we both work at Legacy Theater, so and I love a comedy and a show within a show.
Yeah.
So I'm looking forward to getting there. If not this weekend, then next weekend.
Well, let's talk about what do you do. We'll get to talk about you because I want to hear some of your backstory. But what have you been involved with at Legacy? What is your role or capacity there for both of you?
We both have been working there, volunteering and being a house manager alternate when our great house manager Jeff Seitland is not available, and we've been involved in it since the beginning of the opening 5 years ago.
Yeah,
and but aside from doing the house management, I'm an actor, and I've acted in a bunch of their productions. I was in Your Good Man, Charlie Brown. I did Play That Goes Wrong, Christmas Carol for 4 years. It's just such an awesome opportunity to have a great intimate space so close to Brantford. It's been something that I think has been lacking in this town for a really long time. And just Legacy, I feel, just fills all of the needs of the arts.
It really is a gem. It really is a gem, especially growing up with I know Kelsey and I remember it as the Puppet House and all those memories there with the Battle of the Bands and, some crazy memories, and which is why it took so long for the theater to get built, over a decade. But we've been around for over 5 years now, and I'm pretty sure it's here to stay, which is amazing and incredible. And I've had many jobs there, but now I'm the Associate Artistic Director, and it really, all of my jobs are dream jobs. I say it all the time. I mean, directing the High School Musical, working at Legacy, and of course my full-time job with the town. It's just, I love it all. And believe me, it all comes with a little bit of extra baggage, but what job doesn't, right?
Amen.
Well, I thank you for the update on how you guys are involved with Legacy. But before we get into the show you're working on now, can you tell me a little bit more about you and a little bit of a bio, like where you grew up and what you went to school for, and sort of just, not too long because we don't want this to be an epic podcast, but just a little bit more for the viewers to hear, a little bit about you. Let's start with Chris.
Yeah, I actually was born in Orlando, Florida.
Oh, with Mickey.
Yeah, with Mickey Mouse. But it was around age 4 or 5. I moved to Brantford, and my family has been here ever since. I went to Brantford High School. I was in all of the musicals. Actually, that's where I first came into contact with the both of you.
Was that where you first
That's
came
not
in
the
contact
first
with
contact.
me?
Yeah.
I wasn't going to bring it up, but since you did. Go.
Yeah, Colin was my very first director in a nativity play when it was known as St. Mary's. It's not known as St. Mary's anymore.
No, it's East Shoreline Catholic Academy, and believe me, I didn't write the nativity play. It was a well-known story. I just directed it. I went to St. Mary's for 10 years, and when I went to public school, the first one in my family to go to public school, I decided why not teach the public school like some theater, and instead of like doing a huge production, we did the first nativity, and it was a live production, and I did it 2 years. You were in both productions, right?
I was in both productions. I was Shepherd number 3 or 4.
That was the best
one.
Shepherd, though. You're welcome.
Thank you. Yeah, I got a lot of praise from that. And then the next year, I got upgraded to Joseph.
The lead male.
Well,
lead male.
He had one line.
What was that line?
I can't even tell you.
I bet it was like, "You're really? There's no room at the inn?"
How dare you.
Actually, you're probably correct. That was probably the
but
line.
I have a pregnant wife who's also a virgin, and she's about to give birth. Yeah. So, yeah. And did anything happen during that process?
Yeah. Well, you were very grueling in the blocking that you were giving us, so I had to walk down the stairs and accidentally, fell down the stairs and twisted my ankle.
Clumsy Chris, we still call him Clumsy Chris.
That's it. And I was, I was a little bit young at the time, so I was crying, and you rush over and you're like, "What's going on? What's going on?" And I was like, "Oh, I twisted my ankle." You're looking all around and you're like, someone get this kid ice. Get the kid ice. And there was no ice in
because we were at St. Mary's. There was an ice shortage.
Yeah, there was clearly. So they brought me a Klondike bar.
Obviously, as one does.
Yeah, and I placed it on my ankle, but at a certain point I got hungry.
Mm-hmm.
I smell where this is going.
Ate it. And then about a couple minutes later, I was complaining that I had nothing to, cool my ailing ankle, and you come over and you're like, "What's going on?" There were tears again, and I was like, I don't have the Klondike bar, and then you're like, "Well, you know what? We don't have any more ice," and I was like, "Oh, but it really hurts," and you were like, "Well, you shouldn't have eaten the Klondike bar."
That doesn't sound like me. See, I told you, I've always been a bee. Even when I was probably 14 years old when I was directing you, 14 or 15. Yeah. Okay, sorry for that. So you met us in high school, or that's how you knew us?
Met you in high school. I fell in love with the arts under the amazing mentorship of directors and teachers and educators such as Maria Ogren and Tony Cardesano and Kathy Ann Roding. And I ended up falling in so much love with it that I went to school for it. And I went to Pace University, got a BFA in acting, waited a lot of tables. And then I ended up booking my very first professional gig at the Alabama Shakespeare Festival, and that's how I got my equity card, which is essentially like union status for actors. And I was doing all of that, and then COVID kind of, washed over the world, and I was going back and forth between. And when I was going back and forth between, that's when I kind of hooked back up with you and Kelsey, and we started doing stuff with Tabor Arts, and then that moved on to Shoreline Theater Company, which we'll talk about more. But yeah, and then kind of just seeing the great arts that was coming into this town, and that's what I've kind of been doing, and I've been loving it.
I love it. Thank you. Yeah. Now you guys know a little bit more about Chris Lemieux. Let's hear more from my prom date, Kelsey Mulligan.
Yes, that is true. Didn't work out.
No, it didn't.
But, such is life. Yes, I grew up in Branford, right around the corner, actually. I'm very local. And I graduated from Branford High School in 2002, went through the same program that both of you did. Met Colin at, I think, 12 years old or 11 years old.
I was in fifth grade, Fiddler, I think.
Yeah, we were doing summer theater camp with
Yep.
the late Jack Hutchinson. And
He was amazing. He's actually who's inspired myself to bring back a summer theater camp experience. And it's really an honor to him because we had so much fun.
Yes. I mean, a one-man band putting on old Gilbert and Sullivan operettas with
You're right, the
12-year-olds.
Mikado. I forgot the
Yes.
Mikado. So I must have been younger.
Yes.
Than 12.
10, I think
because
you
it
had
was
to
well
be.
before Rosie. Yeah.
Mhm.
Oh my gosh. And you and I went to St. Mary's School together too for a couple of years.
Yeah, I did 2 years at St. Mary's.
So I've really known you for a long
for
time.
a very long time. And because I'm about to turn 41 as you turned 40 this year. So
Yeah.
we have some roots in this town and with our friendship. So same thing. Went to college at Rhode Island College for musical theater, got my Bachelor's of Arts, and graduated 2006. And since then, I've been doing a lot of theater in town. I worked at the Schubert for 10 years, the historic Schubert Theater.
We worked there together
with you
too.
as well. And I work full-time for the last 18 years now with a local recycling brokerage company called Canusa Hirschman Recycling. So all of your collectibles on your corner that you see and you pack in, thank you so much. We do make some things out of it. Send it all over the country and the world. And and I've been involved with Shoreline Theater since the beginning with Hairspray back in 2018, the before times, as I call them. And just thrilled to be able to continue to put on shows and do theater with all of my friends and the community and just get to have all those experiences. It's really great.
That's awesome. Well, I guess we've talked a little bit about us and Shoreline Theater Company, and why don't we talk about the show you're working on now, which is Jonathan Larson's Rent, which the last podcast I told you was the show I've seen on Broadway the most. When someone would say they didn't like Broadway, I'd bring them to Broadway because it really was a rock and roll musical. And then they got to find out a little history lesson about what it was like living in the East Village in New York City in the 90s. So I do love the show. I did want to direct the show, but I knew that with everything going on with the festival, once I learned it was moving to Hammerfield, that I couldn't. And luckily, I have a strong team that always works with me. Obviously, there's Mike Martone and Paula Rarick, Adam Jackson, and Chris Lemieux has directed a bunch. Chris Lemieux, has directed a bunch of shows for me before. Mostly plays and a small musical, Spelling Bee, the 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. It was our first musical at Walsh. So tell me about Rent and what Rent means to you two, how the rehearsal process has been going. I know we have some footage from last night's rehearsal, the first time you worked with the orchestra. We're not going to play sound for you, but let's watch some footage and let's hear what Rent means to you and how the process has been going. So let's start with you, Chris.
Yeah, I primarily, just like you said, I have a huge love for plays. So I really was only directing plays, and I had done 25th annual Putnam County Spelling Bee. This year, though, I was given the opportunity to direct Rent, and I listened to your podcast last week. Excuse me.
That's right.
And unlike you with Rent, I actually hadn't seen it all that much. My very first time actually seeing it done professionally was, I believe, it was at the Schubert for the 20th anniversary production. One of my really good friends was playing Roger in it, so it was really cool to see that. And there was just this energy about the theater itself. The people that love Rent. And I had never I'd seen the movie. It never I love the music. Never spoke to me. But throughout this process, it's been really, really cool to get a sense of what Rent means, because every single person, kind of like you and Kelsey has spoken on as well, has so many fond memories or why Rent is so important to them. And seeing that community come together, it inspired me to do what the whole production, our production in particular, is doing, which is a very, very focus on community. You're going to see a lot of the ensemble on stage, sometimes in productions when they really shouldn't be, but I thought it was more than just the principals telling the story of Rent. It was important to see what the rest of the world around them is doing and how they're coping with loss, love, laughter, and all of that. But I've just been having so much fun to it, and Kelsey can definitely speak on.
Well, I've noticed, because I sat in on the auditions and the callbacks, and I tried to give as much space as possible during the rehearsal process, not only because I was pulled in a million directions for other things, but also because I knew it wouldn't be fair if I was there stepping on your toes as a director. So yes, of course, I've given you some hints and tips here and there, and I'll be there obviously tonight and tomorrow for the dress rehearsals to give you some last minute notes. You can take them or you can't. You don't have to take them. I that's the beauty of being the director. And I know that myself, when I'm a director, I'm a big collaborator with the creative team and the cast, because some of the cast brings some great ideas to the table. And I've noticed that it seems that you have a lot of new cast members in this production. So Kelsey, can you speak to that and maybe how have you seen Shoreline grow over the years, and just touch upon Rent and how your experience has been with Rent? And I want to hear a little bit about all of that.
Yeah, I mean, I fell in love with Rent when I was 14. Our good friend Elena introduced us to the show, and it just turns your world on its head, because musical theater up until that point was sort of not one track, but Rent really came in and blew the doors down, and just absolutely fell in love with the show and had wanted to do it for a very long time. And to be able to finally do it all these years later is so special. But I'm also doing it with friends that I have known since I was 14 and in the school, in the space. So there's a lot of great things coming together. And because it's Brantford, we are very lucky, and, you know, surrounding towns as well. But we feel very proud that we have such a great, creative and talented community. And we have always really fostered that and have such support within the town. And from that, we have a great sort of little troupe of actors.
That's why we call it a company.
Exactly.
It's a company is a group of people, like a ballet company, a theater troupe, a theater company. There's lots of questioning about what a company is on the other side, but, that's what a company is. Thank you.
But since we have this great company, and we want to grow it, and this is the perfect show, because at times it is sort of race specific, and you want a lot of diversity. This show really opens the doors, and it's an easier way to get a lot more people who might have heard about Shoreline or maybe haven't seen it but wanted to be involved, haven't had an opportunity. Now they're welcomed with open arms. We're so happy to have them. They're so talented. We are so talented that we have two casts.
Yeah.
Two female specific casts.
Yeah. Can you tell me what do you play? What in the show?
I'm playing one of the Joannes, who is the partner to Maureen, the performance artist, and Joanne is the sort of more lawyer, and she's a little bit more reserved. And but yeah, I will be playing Joanne on the 2 Thursday shows, and Alex Hernandez will be Joanne on the Friday shows.
Great. So are you in the ensemble when you're not?
Yes. So all of the female doubles will be ensemble the nights that they're not playing their principal role, which is great, because otherwise I wouldn't get to sing a lot of the songs that everybody knows if I were the principal part. So it's really fun to be able to sing everything.
I always tell the cast, and I've been in a million shows, and I've probably only been the lead a handful of times, and I really love playing the ensemble, because you get to create your own role, your own world. You get to live in it. As you know, when I'm directing, I hate spoon feeding. You got to come to the table with some choices. I feel like as an actor, that's the director is there to help you improve what you bring to the table, not to spoon feed you and tell you, this is what I want you to do, cookie cutter. No.
And we have a lot of fun on tables in this show.
Yes. Wow.
So
that makes me want to see it.
You should come get tickets.
I love it. And speaking of tickets, you could get tickets at BrantfordRecreation.org or ShorelineTheaterCompany.com. I know it's a pain. We are a theater company running, and I have a Brantford Parks and Recreation Department. I get it. You got to make a household to buy a ticket. If you don't want to, you don't have to. Just show up at the door. We will take your orders at the door. It's easier to get a ticket in advance if you have a household, if you're a Brantford resident, but I understand. Go to BrantfordRecreation.org. You could call 203-488-8304. You could find more out about Shoreline Theater Company at ShorelineTheaterCompany.com. Make sure you follow them all on social media. But yes, there will be tickets at the door. It opens June 19th, this Thursday, and you see one cast on June 19th, and you see the other cast on June 20th. Both performances are at 7 o'clock. Then we also, so there's word of mouth, you could tell your friends. And then the second weekend, which is closing weekend, we have the 26th and 27th, which is Thursday and Friday of the following week. So that's that. I'm going to do a ticket giveaway in a second. You know what? We'll do it for a few shows. But before we wrap and do those ticket giveaways, any last minute thoughts on Rent or Shoreline Theater Company, what that means to you, bringing it to Brantford, having these opportunities, any last minute words that you want the Chattin with Colin audience to know?
Yeah, I just, I do think that, because of the new cast members that we have, the Shoreline Theater Company is now really becoming what the name is, right? It's not just Brantford based anymore. It's really starting to branch out to the communities all across the shoreline, and you can see it. It's pretty amazing and incredible, the people that we get, but also because we're starting to get more people from very different places in life. We also had the opportunity to speak with a really impactful gentleman named Ted, who lived through the AIDS crisis, was an actor in New York as a part of the LGBTQ plus community. And he spoke on him being in New York and having to actually leave New York because the phone calls were constant. And just kind of hearing that really brought the cast together in a way that I just think really just like helps and tells the story of Rent even better. And it's just without having more actors coming and joining our company and doing all of that, we wouldn't have access to some of these stories. And that's why I think, things like Rent and even small fun pieces like Footloose and Something Rotten, which you guys did in the past, and Hairspray, like all of these productions are things that I don't think a lot of Brantford community sometimes gets. And just being able to tell these new stories, that's what makes me so excited.
Yes.
Being able to tell the audience these really intricate and eclectic and really interesting stories. And
because we're an adult theater company, we are able to do shows that have more adult content. So just so you do know, we are recommending the show for 17 and older because of the adult material that's in the show. However, I saw the show when I was, I think, 12, live on Broadway. My parents bought me the CD for Christmas, not knowing anything what it was about. So when they heard me singing it, they were like, what the hell did we just buy this kid? But yeah, no, I agree with everything you said.
And I will say, like, this show now is a period piece at this point, just because this does take place in the 90s. But singing these songs, especially this week, everything is hitting very modern, very current. And I think you can, no matter the theme, you can come away with hope and a sense of community. And even though it is recommended for 17 and up, use your discretion as a family, but please don't let that deter you from coming in and seeing the show, because the younger kids that are in our cast have really bridged the gap with the older cast because of Ted's amazing talk. So we hope that everybody will come out and see it, because it is about community at the end of the day.
Yeah, it's going to be a phenomenal show. We are going to do some ticket giveaways. Last words on what bringing Shoreline Theater Company to Brantford and the community means to you as both friends of mine and artists and creatives. Like, what does it mean having this company of things for not only just kids and inspiring the future of theater and the arts of tomorrow, but also having these performing and directing opportunities as local actors that still love to act and aren't in New York or traveling the country. I wanna know what that means to you individually.
To me specifically, maybe I'll get a little bit of flack for saying this, but Brantford has always prided itself in being an arts town. Up until Shoreline Theater Company and then Legacy Theater came into existence, I didn't see much of it. I mean, I saw a lot of educational. I'm also a director of the WAS Performing Arts Musical. You and Mr. Martone are also, and Paula are involved with the BHS Performing Arts. But really, that's all there really was in Brantford. And just being able to have something like this is just, it's so necessary for the lifeblood of any town. You get, I may be a little bit biased, but like artists have this sensibility about them, and it's just a very loving and caring and accepting atmosphere. And I've been involved with so many different groups in my life. I played sports at one point, but there's nothing like going into a space where everyone is equal. And you don't get that often, because in a sport, if you're bad at the sport, you're on the bench. In theater, if you're bad at theater, you're still on stage.
That is a perfect analogy.
It's Yeah, like you are always doing it. It doesn't matter. Like even being in the ensemble, you're still doing more than anyone else doing any other activity. You know, like you still have to do the steps and it's all in one and everyone's working on the same product. And I think that's important to see. Like when we do the camp, right? We do Shoreline Theater Company camp. 108 kids this year.
From 31 in 2018. We had 31 kids the first year, and now we have 108 from 7 different towns.
Yeah, it's amazing. And that is in large part to, first off and foremost, thank you to you and to Mike Martone for bringing this opportunity into existence, because 108 kids, they are going to learn everything that we just talked about, and all 108 kids are going to have to move in time, get on stage, sing the same notes. It's really inspiring, and like it's just not something that's done in every town, and what a shame. But I'm so glad that Brantford does it.
Yeah. Kelsey, I'm going to give you the last word before these ticket giveaways.
It's just about opportunity and outlet. I am not a professional actor, but I could have gone that route if I wanted to, but I wanted to be in my town and live in my community, and to be able to contribute and still have an artistic sensibility in the place that I love is very important. It roots me in my community. It roots me with my friends, but we get to be silly and we get to put on costumes and we get to sing songs, and it's just a magical place. And the fun and magical thing about theater is that every show is different. The lights go down, and that night, that performance that the audience sees is one, and that's it. And you will never have that experience again, but you all got to have it together. Yeah. And then you do it again the next day. And the community that works in individual programs within the show, your backstage crew, your lighting designer, your musicians on stage, the choreographer, the dancers, costumes, everything comes together separately, and then suddenly there's this thing that happened. And it's just really, theater is cool.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys. And just like you, Chris, I was never good at sports. My parents forced me to do it. Then I found theater. I fell in love with theater. I've said it a million times. The best thing I ever did was decide to move back to Brantford. All I wanted to do when I moved back to Brantford was create the theater scene that I yearned for as a child, because I went to St. Mary's School, and although there were the educational musicals that you were talking about at Walsh and at the high school, I didn't get those opportunities at St. Mary's. And yes, it was great that I got to perform on Rosie and then went to Brantford High School and had these amazing opportunities. But I'm very glad that I had the success in Brantford as a child, some successes in New York City as I became an adult, and then I moved back, and I love it. And speaking of loving theater and loving Brantford, I didn't realize how much pull I had with this podcast until I got into the Brantford Bees. So off the cuff, I'm going to say, comment below your favorite thing about theater, your favorite thing about chatting with Colin, anything about the festival, anything we talked about today. And I'm going to give away some pairs of tickets, not only to Rent, to every performance of Rent. I'm also going to give away a pair of tickets to every performance left in Long Days Journey. Well, not Long Days Journey. Long Days, the premiere at Legacy. It's a fabulous journey, and it closes June 29th. So you still have some time. So comment, what's your favorite thing about theater? This show, the Brantford Festival, Brantford in general. Let us know if you haven't stepped foot into the Legacy Theater, or if you have never seen a Shoreline Theater Company production, and give us some stories, and I will definitely pick some winners. And I look forward to seeing you guys at the shows. Thanks for all the support. Thank you guys for coming. I love you too. I can't wait for everyone to see you, Kelsey, shine on stage, and you, Chris, see your work.
The entire cast, everybody. It's so everyone. Talented, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, and I want to thank you for watching the second episode of Chattin' with Colin. I couldn't do this without my amazing producer, Matt Law, and everyone here at BCTV, Victor, Doug, Teddy, Mary Lee, Leon. You guys are all amazing. Thank you so much. Remember, we have a new Facebook group. Facebook page, Chattin' with Colin, Instagram handle, Chattin' with Colin, and email, Chatting with Colin, as if I needed more things to run in my
More
life.
emails.
But I'm thinking maybe this will get me the office with a door and an assistant. On that note, here's the theme song again. Thanks, everyone. Have a great week. We'll see you next week. You know him, you love him, you're gonna want more of him. Here he is now, it's Chatting with Colin.
Of inspiration playing hooking.